Mark. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Good. How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, or is it afternoon? Oh, it's afternoon.
Somewhere between the two. If you did not pre-register, can you please look in the chat box and there's a link
Sure.
there.
Of course.
Just submit that so we can stay in touch with you. What year are you?
Oh, I'm a career center staff.
Oh, are you? Okay, what's your name?
I'm Jessica.
Oh, hey Jessica.
Yeah, we met a while back at a career fair.
Spring
I don't
in the
know if you
spring.
remember.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a while back ago, but
Yes.
yeah, we met in person, and you came up to me and saying how wonderful the event was, and
Yes.
you enjoyed the students.
Excellent.
Yes. All
Yeah,
right.
I wish y'all had some way for graduate schools to interact in the fall, because that's the time when applications are submitted.
Ah, I see. The
Yeah.
only thing we have other than, we have our huge career fair. And
Yeah,
we had almost we had 4,400 students come to that one.
that's excellent. You all
Yeah.
have a great turnout. I think y'all's events, and from what I found, Winston-Salem State surpasses everybody. I've never seen an event like theirs, but y'all have great events also. So
Yeah, thank you. And I didn't see a link in the chat, Jermaine, for let's see, Mariana probably Mariana, did you pre-register for this event? If you didn't, it's okay. Jermaine said she's gonna put something in the chat that she'd like you to go to, so they could just have that on the record.
Hi, Mariana.
Sorry, didn't know I have to.
It says, for some reason, I've allowed this it says some people in the chat outside your organization may not see the messages. Do you see my message saying,
No.
welcome to today's information session?
No, I don't see that.
Okay, because I put the link that was on the flyer that I sent out.
And we have that flyer. Let me see if I can if I can put it in the chat for everyone. Let me see if I can.
There must be something, because I made the meeting open to non-organizational members, but for some reason the chat box is not working there.
Okay, I think I can, let me see if I can get it up. And if so, I'll put that link in there.
I need to figure out. Let me look at my settings and see if I can figure it out. Welcome, Janara. How are you?
Let's see if I can find it.
Okay. Janara, if you can put your email address in the chat box, and same for you, Mariana, since you didn't pre-register, which is perfectly fine, then I at least have a way to follow up with you after our meeting today, just to send you some information. Thank you. Okay.
All right, I got the link. So I'll see.
Let me look in the settings and see. Okay, I see that you placed that there.
Yes. So Janara and Mariana, if you wouldn't mind going to that link, it just has, and you can, it just has about 11 questions.
Yeah, and you can do that afterwards if you want.
Yeah.
But we still have a few minutes here. Let me see if I can see my settings. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. I'm gonna need to resolve that somehow though.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to type something else just to see if it comes through.
Okay, I'm seeing that you're typing now.
Okay.
It says you're typing.
Okay. Let's see
But
if you.
I say yeah, I see welcome to today's information session. I see that now, but I didn't see anything else before that.
Okay, because I guess it was at 11:45. I placed 3 messages in that chat box.
Maybe
so
it's because you have to be in the room
with someone else.
Yeah, like if you sent something previously and then I joined, then I won't be able to see it.
Yes.
Once I join, then I can see your messages.
Okay.
That's probably what it is. Hi, Brandy.
Hi,
Brandy. She's my teammate and she's joining just to be here to learn as well.
Good. Very good. All right. I appreciate that.
And then Tiara is my other teammate. We just tried to our team, and then Madison it seems like she's a student. So welcome, Madison. We have I'm gonna re-put it in the chat for you, Madison, but there is a registration form if you wouldn't mind filling that out.
She did.
Okay.
She already did, Jessica. Yeah, she pre-registered.
Oh, you pre-registered. On point. Awesome.
I have one other person that did that's not in here, Andre. So we'll see. Maybe he'll hop on.
Okay.
All right.
And then if Mariana and Janara, you're able to, if you're able to, it would be great if you could turn on your camera just to show your face to Jermaine. And I know we're not in person, but it really like helps personalize this experience a little bit more. And it does show a little bit of professionalism if you're able to do that.
Yeah. Sometimes there's somewhere that I can't. I understand that. So.
Yeah. Did Jalen pre-register, Jermaine?
No, Tiara and Jalen, if you can, in that link that's in the chat.
Tiara's my teammate.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Tiara.
But I'll put it again for Jalen and Sydney.
Okay.
Sydney, welcome. Jalen, welcome. There's going to be a link I just put in the chat that Jermaine would like you to fill out to register for this event. And it just has some few questions for you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm probably going to go ahead and get started because my presentation is definitely an hour and I want to save a few minutes at the. Oh, I was going to share. I've got 2 first-year students that are expected to join us if they can get out of class on time. They were both exercise science students and graduated in May from UNC Charlotte. So hopefully they will be able to join us. So I'm going to go ahead and get us going. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off. Feel free to turn yours off and we'll turn them back on when we get to the end. All right, so I want to welcome everyone today to our presentation. I'm Jermaine Bowles. I'm the Director of Admissions and Alumni Relations for the Doctor of Occupational Therapy program here at Methodist University, so we're glad to have you. This will be about an hour in length, and then as I mentioned, we have some students that graduated from UNC Charlotte that'll join us for some Q&A at the end. So welcome. We're the first fully accredited OTD program in North Carolina. We're very proud of that designation. Obviously, there are other doctorate programs in the state, but we were the first. So this is our first year cohort here, along with our faculty and staff in front of the Thomas R. McLean Health Sciences building, which is where our program resides. Today, we're going to talk about the history of occupational therapy. What is OT? Why choose a doctoral degree? We'll look at our mission, the admissions process, our program overview, how to fund your goal of going to graduate school. We'll look at student leadership opportunities. I'll have some suggestions for you as future applicants, and then how to connect with us. So I'd like to start with a brief history about occupational therapy. Occupational therapy, the American Occupational Therapy Association, the AOTA, which is still the name today of the organization, began in 1921. And what happened is, following World War I, soldiers were coming back, a lot of amputees, a lot of PTSD, what they called shell shock then, and they started sending out reconstruction aides into the field to work with these soldiers with their physical injuries. And you can see in the bottom photo, there's a tent, they're outside. You can see the reconstruction aids there, and the soldiers are basket weaving. And what they found is that these sorts of activities, this kind of created a diversion from the pain and the psychological challenges that they were going through, and it helped them recover quicker. So in 1923, minimum training standards were created for the profession, and these the information from these reconstruction aids was published in the Maryland Psychiatric Quarterly. So there's a strong correlation in occupational therapy between the hard sciences and the social sciences. So what is an occupational therapist? They help people across the lifespan. That means childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and the elderly, in the things that they want and need to do through the therapeutic use of everyday activities, which are called occupations. Sometimes there's confusion about the name of the profession. For me, I know I thought, well, it's what you do for work or your job or your career, which is one occupation of many that people do throughout their everyday lives. Others could be dressing yourself, writing, feeding yourself, driving a car, a wide variety of occupations. And OT practitioners have a holistic perspective in which the focus is maximizing the fit between the person and the person's environment through improvement and adaptation. So some of the skill set that an OT would need would be to be able to be creative, innovative, be able to empower their clients, be good problem solvers, be able to create independence, and have a lot of empathy for their patients and clients. And we like to say that OT is the skills for the job of living. So the types of interventions and evaluations that OTs do, the interventions would maybe be helping children with disabilities like autism or ADHD to participate in school or social situations, helping individuals recover life skills lost due to illness or an injury or surgery, providing support for older adults experiencing physical and cognitive changes. And then the evaluations could be done in their home or it could be work or school. Those evaluations will also have recommendations for adaptive equipment and training in its use. As you can see in this photo here, using a sock aid, which my mother had double knee replacement surgery, and she was given one of these. And then lastly, and very importantly, giving guidance and education for family members and caregivers, who are a very important component of the treatment plan. I'm going to play a short video clip here that reviews the profession and emphasizes how OT helps people participate in all areas of life. All right, I hope you enjoyed that overview of how broad the category of OT is. It is not just specifically in healthcare settings. All right, so now I want to transition to talk with you about why the doctorate degree. Obviously, if you are considering OT, you have the option in the state of North Carolina and nationally to receive a master's degree or a doctorate degree to be considered entry-level practitioner and to be able to sit for your boards. However, the AOTA and the accrediting body ACODE have made statements in favor of a single point of entry to the profession at the OTD level, and the OTD degree is currently the highest level of academic rigor. So we like to say get the degree that you earn. The average MOT degree is around 68 credits. Within North Carolina, it ranges anywhere from 63 to 74. General master's degrees anywhere from 36 to 54 degrees. Our program is 3 full years and we have 115 credits. Also like to point out that we've had a very high MBCOT board exam new grad pass rate. Our first 2 cohorts were at 100%. This last cohort is a little bit lower. We've got 2 students still needing to take it or retake it, so we expect that to be 100% very soon. So it is research focused. The master's degree is not going to include this component, so I want to highlight exactly what that means. So our doctorate students will complete a highly specialized capstone research project. And students are able to select from amongst current department faculty research project areas of expertise or develop one that may be slightly different alongside that faculty member. And then they will work with community agencies to develop projects where they do not currently exist, and also in areas that are of an interest to the student. So as you can see here, the Capstone Scholarly Project, excuse me, it has 3 courses that are assigned to it, 1 in each of the academic years. And then what happens in the final and last semester of our program in the summer, the 9th semester before students have their degrees conferred, that capstone research project is then implemented in a 14-week capstone externship called a DEC. And there are also additional courses that are tied into that over the several years. I want to point out that those projects have been in over 19 states, and we've had 87 sites, 27 of those sites being out of state. So a lot of times these projects can lead to employment opportunities once the student graduates and sits for their board exam. Also, it's not just about research. Also, there are coursework with regards to program and business development, being competent to be able to create to meet needs through community programs or new business models, looking at emerging practice areas and exposure to that in women's health, pelvic floor, telehealth, working with homeless and prison populations, and mental health is exploding for OTs right now, a huge demand. If you think that you may one day want to teach, a doctoral degree would be required. And then also for leadership and management roles, to be a leader in the profession, in your community, and with your clients. Our students also gain a lot of advocacy skills, working with government agencies and legislative bodies to further the cause of the profession. And then, of course, learning to consume and generate professional evidence, being able to take an article and research, understand it, and how to apply it to your practice. All right. So a lot of times I get a question from students, is there a difference in salary between the master's degree graduate and the doctorate graduate? So as I had stated, both will come out as entry-level practitioners and sit for the board. However, in certain settings, such as school-based practice, where those salaries are published to the public, you will see that someone with a doctorate degree certainly will be paid more than someone with a master's degree. Also, I want to point out that that the training that you gain through the doctorate degree will help you reach a director or team lead position in fewer years, and also gives you a leg up on high demand positions since you will be more competent and qualified. And overall, looking at OT as a career, the job outlook is expected growth of 12% through 2032. Very good. It's ranked very high in best healthcare jobs, number 20, and number 19 and 100 best jobs overall. The median full-time salary is around $93,000. Of course, that's dependent on the geographical area that you are practicing in, the setting that you're practicing in, and of course your experience. Number of jobs is expected to increase, and unemployment rate is at 3.5%, which is very low. So very high demand field, and there will be that will continue into the future. All right, now I want to switch over to admissions. So I just want to share that our mission statement. So our program fosters the development of our students, emphasizing critical thinking and the use of contemporary evidence-informed practice to develop knowledge, specialized skills, and the ability to deliver culturally responsive and client-centered care with all persons, groups, and communities. And so for degree requirements, the traditional pathway is what would apply to you all today. And this pathway simply means that you have to have a baccalaureate degree from an accredited university or college, and that can be in any field. However, the primary ones that we typically see them from are biology, exercise science, kinesiology, rec therapy, public health, health sciences, human and family development, and psychology and sociology, but could be in any field. And then you just have to have that degree completed before enrolling in our program. And our prerequisites that are required are abnormal psychology or psychopathology, developmental psychology. I just want to point out that needs to be a lifespan course, meaning that it needs to cover childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. At some institutions, that may be one inclusive course, or it can be up to 3 separate courses. So when you're planning your coursework, you need to consider that. If you're not able to fit that in, and I think Chapel Hill maybe requires 3 and may possibly be the same for you all at Charlotte. I know it's at least 2 courses. One may cover childhood and adolescence, the other adult. If you need to, you can always go, take something online or at a community college if you need to get that lifespan requirement and are not able to find that coursework easily within your schedule. Human anatomy in a lab, physiology in a lab, or combination, human anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, both with labs, total 8 credits. Social sciences can be any introductory, psychology, sociology, public health course, a statistics course, just anything as long as it is not a business statistics course. And then we have recommended coursework, not required, but if you have it and you have an A or a B in it, you will be awarded additional application points. That would be upper level science, anything 200 level or above, or physics courses 100 level above. Kinesiology or biomechanics courses, this could be applied kinesiology, motor learning, anything like that. And then health disparities and equity. These are not ethics courses. These are typically in the sociology area, race and ethnic relations, human diversity and population, drugs and society, those sorts of courses. And these prerequisites need to have been completed within 10 years prior to application. We will accept the highest grade if multiple attempts are made in a course. We do accept courses from community college and online. I'm happy to review a syllabus, or if you want to send me a description with the course name and number from your academic catalog from your institution, I'm glad to look at a course if you're not quite sure if it's going to meet the requirement. There's no double dipping on courses. You can only fulfill 1 requirement at a time. Advanced placement credits accepted by your institution are also accepted as part of your OTD application, but may not be used to fulfill prerequisite requirements. Candidates are expected to have no more than 2 prerequisite courses remaining to be taken by the end of the spring semester after they apply. That means if you are, for instance, applying for next fall and you're in 2 classes now for the fall and you have 2 more to take in the spring, that's fine. You'll just have to submit your official transcripts for the OTCAS academic update period, which is between December 15th and February 15th to have those verified. And then you'll just go back into your application and update your electronic transcript with the grades that you received for fall. A required minimum prerequisite GPA of a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale and a recommended minimum overall GPA of a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. So for application requirements, we require 2 letters of recommendation, 1 academic, 1 clinical or work-based, OTCAS will allow you to submit up to 5. If you want to submit up to 5, that's fine, but you need to make sure for us that you have 1 in each category. The academic can be someone who knows your academic achievement at the college or university level. It could be a teacher or advisor. For the work clinical, someone who can speak to your work ethic, your dependability for a job. Could be someone who supervised you for shadowing hours or an internship or a job. Next are the professional exposure activities, also known as observation hours. These are strongly recommended but not required. A minimum of 50 total hours in 2 different OT settings or populations. These can be in-person, virtual, remote, or a combination of all. If you see our website, we have a link there for virtual and remote professional exploration activities. It just gives you some suggestions of things that can count towards observation hours. If you're taking a introductory to OT course at the university, that certainly would count. 16 weeks at 3 credit hours a week, 48 hours right there. If you would like me to send that to you, I'm also glad to send it to you by email if you reach out to me. I do suggest keeping a detailed log or spreadsheet of what you've completed, date, who supervised you, what was the setting. And then in the document section of the OTCAS application, you can submit additional letters of those that you worked with that maybe you didn't use under your letters of recommendation. And you can also upload into that document section on the website any certificates of completion that you got for any virtual activities that you did. Sometimes they will award you a certificate, so you can place that there. Lastly, the personal essay, that's required by all applicants. It just helps us see your solid writing skills, why you're interested in the OT profession. It helps us get to know you a little bit better. So application deadlines. So we have 2 deadlines. Our early decision deadline is October 1st. So that has now passed if you were looking for that for next fall. That is designed for candidates who are highly qualified and have made our program their top choice school. This is a non-binding offer, so our deposit is $500 non-refundable deposit. And these applicants have also completed all of their prerequisites when their application is submitted. The second deadline is our regular decision deadline, which is December 1st. And the interviews for early decision typically take place November to December, and they will have their seat offers made prior to the regular decision candidates. We typically fill our 30-seat cohort. A third of them come from early decision candidates. I also want to point out that OTCAS, like other CAS systems, allow you to place 1 application and apply to multiple schools. The first application is $164 and additional ones are $71 each. If you have a financial hardship, our institution does not provide any fee waivers, but OTCAS has an application online where you can submit that, and if approved, they will waive the first fee. So our application review process has 2 phases. Phase 1, we're looking at your verified OTCAS application. What does that mean? That means that OTCAS is going to take some time. They're going to verify all of your transcripts. They're going to verify all your letters of recommendation, and that takes some time. Also, if you choose to pay for transcript entry, not manually entering them in yourself, but having them do it, that will definitely slow down your application. So just plan for that. In the process, we'll look at those GPAs, undergrad and prereq, any recommended coursework, those observation experiences, letters of recommendation. We do not require GRE. We found that it has not been an accurate indicator of performance. And then that personal essay. Top tip for our program has a holistic admissions process. Of course, we're looking strongly at your GPAs to make sure that you have the academic ability to handle graduate school coursework. But secondary to that, we're looking at you as a person, the things that you've been involved in, what you've been exposed to, your experiences. So on the OTCAS application is a section called Experience Section. In this section will be several tabs. One tab will be for observation hours. You need to list all observation experiences in that tab because that is where our formula within OTCAS pulls from. The other tabs are optional: employment, extracurricular activities, health-related experience, internships and clinical experiences, leadership research, and teaching experience. Internships and clinical experiences have to be separate and distinct from your observation hours. But if you have anything in those areas, please include that because you will be awarded additional application points. And then we'll move on to the phase 2. Once we have scored your application, it will then they will all be ranked, and then we will invite top applicants for an on-site interview. It's a 2.5-hour in-person interview process, series of interactions with our program. We have a director's welcome, individual faculty interviews, a tour and Q&A with our student leaders. We request a written submission that's given in advance of the interview that interviewees will bring with them to the interview for discussion during the faculty interviews. Then based on this process, phase 1 score and phase 2 will be combined and re-ranked, and then we will identify the top 30 applicants and make seat offers there and place everyone else on a wait list. As I stated earlier, to accept a seat offer requires a $500 non-refundable deposit. All right, now I'd like to talk about our program. Our program is 3 years, 36 months. It begins in August, and then our students walk in a May graduate school graduation. They go then and complete their DEC capstone in the final semester, and then their degree is conferred in late August. The total credit hours are 115. That means 91 didactic in a classroom, 16 fieldwork, part-time and full-time, and then 6 DEC. Averages out to about 17 to 19 hours per semester, so you need to know how to study, what works best for you, for strategies, how to stay ahead, how do you deal with stress. It is a full-time program, so working is discouraged. That doesn't mean that you couldn't go babysit for someone or mow someone's grass or have a very small, job, but it is full-time every day, basically between 8 and 5. Family support is also very important. You're going to be with your cohort 3 years lockstep, and you're going to make wonderful relationships there. But it's also important when you leave campus to have outside support. And then, of course, living location matters. I would say we have a larger and larger, it seems, each year, students that are commuting up to an hour outside of Fayetteville to come to campus, obviously to save money. So you just need to determine, is that something that's going to make life more stressful for you, or are you going to be able to manage that? And as I said, we had 30 seats in each cohort. So this is just an overview of our curriculum. I'm going to point out a few quick things here. Our primary instructors are all full-time faculty, and they also are local practicing OT practitioners. They have one practice day a week where they are off campus and practicing in their specific setting and areas of expertise. We also utilize adjunct faculty who are full-time practitioners, and some that are also now our alumni, which is very exciting. And our curriculum offers traditional style lecture and active learning approaches. Critical thinking and group work is implemented throughout the curriculum. Anatomy is only in the fall semester. Our anatomy is geared specifically towards OTs. We have full body cadavers in addition to Toltec virtual anatomical tables with virtual reality. Some of the other courses I want to point out are we have a professional writing course. Our program can be writing heavy, and this is a way to bring everyone up to the same level. Therapeutic communication course. This helps in working with peers, patients, and interprofessional or IPE interactions, which are built into our curriculum, and working with other disciplines here on campus, physical therapy, nursing, social work. Professional skills and techniques. In this course, it provides training on transferring patients, PPE, manual muscle testing using gait belts and walkers. And then evaluation of occupational performance 1 and 2. This is in the spring and summer semesters where our students are trained on specialized skills to conduct evaluations with their patients and clients. I also want to point out for field work, we begin in the spring semester of the first year with the 1 week, 40 hours part-time field work. This is important because it provides an introduction to our students to field work so that they can develop those basic comfort levels, learning to understand the needs of their clients, using those therapeutic communication skills, and then practicing those skills in a real world setting. And then year 2 begins with intervention courses across different settings and lifespans. As you can see here, a wide variety of them. And then the information gained from those intervention courses then utilized in our case-based learning, which is written cases. We have a management and policy course where students develop a business plan assignment in writing and then present it in a group to their peers in a panel. Of course, scholarly research project is the start of the capstone there. That's that mentored scholarly research with their faculty member. And then field work, there is 1B, which is another part-time field work rotation in the fall. And at the end of this month, we also have one international rotation available in Yucatan, Mexico with Chosen Inc. There is a clinic down there that we've been going to for several years in a community. And we've got about 8 students that'll be going with about 4 faculty at the end of the month for that, if that's something that interests you. And then 1C, which is required for all OT graduate programs in mental health, which is, again, another 1 week, 40 hours. Beginning with the beginning of the summer semester, our second year students will start 2A, which is 12 weeks full-time. And then that will back up to the fall semester of the third year, which is another 12 weeks full-time, for a total of 24 weeks full-time. So our students are gone from May to December, and then they will come back for the spring semester of the third year. The third year is uniquely what is characteristic of a doctorate degree program. And our students, when they come back, they will take teaching and education strategies, an MBCOT exam prep class. In that professional competency course, our students receive preparation through course curriculum in addition to therapy ed assessments provided by the program. Those assessments are given before they go out on full-time field work begins, and then at the end of the spring semester before they start their DEC, as an assessment to make sure that they are ready for their boards. And the MBCOT board exam certifies that they are doctorally competent. As you can see, there are other classes here: clinical and community research dissemination, community program development and population health, leadership symposium, lots of leadership and program development coursework that you're going to get in the doctorate program. And then, of course, the summer semester for the DEC. This is a sample of our first year schedule. As you can see, Monday through Thursday is pretty full, 8 to 5. Friday is a academic non-class day. So this day is reserved for advising, group work, special guest speakers. It's also a day for students for additional study time, and they really like that. In addition, I want to point out that our program also allows up to 16 PTO, paid time off hours a semester, which allows, if you're sick, you have a doctor's appointment, there's a specific system of accountability in our student handbook and how they make up coursework and how they report this time. But it just provides our students with flexibility for those unexpected life events, and they really appreciate that. This is just a summation of fieldwork and experiential learning. What I want to point out here is that fieldwork is not specific to the Fayetteville area, but is typically within a 2-hour radius. Our students have the ability to list their top choices based on geographical location and setting and what's available. They also have the option to request specific clinics through a required process to establish a new site contract. Our larger affiliations are Cape Fear Valley Health, UNC Health, Duke Health, Centaur, and Shriners. We have over 400 sites in over 35 states. And as I pointed out, the international fall part-time rotation with Chosen Inc. in Yucatan, Mexico, as you can see in the photo above. All right. And then the populations can be gerontology, neurology, orthopeds, mental health. Settings could be acute hospital, inpatient rehab, outpatient rehab, school-based, military, and VA. As you can see in these photos with some of our students here. And our fieldwork coordinator, Dr. Sherry Michelle, in the top right photo. They're just in different settings here working with their patient populations. All right, so I want to shift and talk about how do you fund your dream of graduate school. So for those that would be starting next fall, the class of 2028, the year one tuition and fees is $40,935. Over 3 years, that's $122,805. And this information is also linked on our website. I strongly encourage you to thoroughly look through our website if you're interested in our program to make sure that you're familiar with information about our institution and our program. Institutional fees that students have, graduation fee, and then a vehicle fee if you have one. I want to highlight here as you're building your financial aid or your budget for school to consider indirect costs. What that means, these are costs that may vary from student to student, but you definitely need to consider these. These are things such as books, immunizations, club dues, CPR recertification, your student kit. When you go on full-time fieldwork rotations, you may have living expenses that you need to cover. if you're going to attend any OT state or national conference travel. And then although this is not while you're in school, I like to point out that the MBCOT exam fee is $515 and the state licensure fee is $110. We have a 2-page link document that's updated every year on our website, and you can see all of that there. Then you just need to consider your individual living expenses in that. So the financial aid process starts just like it does at the undergraduate level. I want to point out that in graduate school, there is far less scholarships and institutional money available for graduate programs. It is not the same as it is at the undergraduate level. So everything starts with a FAFSA. My understanding is for those starting next fall that the FAFSA is going to open December 1st. They're a little behind as they revamped their website last year and have been working through the kinks of that. So if you're going to be starting next fall, you'll be using 2023 tax return data to complete that. The 2 federal programs that the majority of our students utilize are the federal unsubsidized loan. And what that means is that the government is not going to subsidize the interest on your loan over the 3 years that you're in school. That interest will continue to accrue. It is not credit-based and caps at $20,500. The federal Grad Plus loan caps out at $50,745 for our institution. It is credit-based loan, and the applications at our institution open May 1st. So with those 2 combined, that's a total of over $70,000 available should you need that and should you qualify. Other things that you can look at are other alternative loans at other lending institutions, but for the majority of our students, they utilize these 2. So looking at scholarships, I want to strongly encourage you, if you're a North Carolina resident, that you consider the Forgivable Education Loans for Service FELS. This was created by the North Carolina General Assembly, and it is for students that are committed to working in critical employment shortage professions and areas in one of the 100 counties of North Carolina. It is a 1-for-1 match or less if you do not use all 3 years. Whatever number of years you use, you will be required to work that many years in one of those underserved areas. The max total scholarship limit is $56,000 for the doctoral degree. It would be less for a master's program. It is lottery based, but once accepted, will renew if you maintain the requirements. You must apply between January 1 and March 1 before your fall start date. Very important. And you do not have to be admitted to the program to apply. You can go to cfnc.org. I do want to point out that the scholarship will convert to a loan if you do not graduate, if you move out of the state, and if you do not serve in one of the 100 counties of the state. Linked on our website under admissions tab, under scholarship tab, are OT specific scholarships at the state and national level with links there and descriptions of what they are. We also have other scholarships listed at the national level and also North Carolina listings. We have diversity scholarships listed. We have the Indian Health Service available there in addition to other scholarship databases. So please see our website. There is plenty of money out there to be had and encourage you to look at that. If you have VA benefits, please contact Mr. Randy Smith, randy.s@methodist.edu. And his phone number is listed there. He can take a look at what benefits you have and let you know what that's going to look like for our institution. We have 6 yellow ribbon program spots available. And we also have a small student employment tutoring position available for second-year students. All right, so other loan forgiveness options. I want to point these out as other ways to finance your education once you have graduated and you are board certified. So there is the U.S. Public Health Service, the USPHS. You can go to usphs.gov. This is a commission core of the U.S. Public Health Service working on the front lines of public health all over the world. Also, in the Indian Health Service, which is specific for American Indian and Alaska Native students, is also a component of the USPHS. There are public loan forgiveness programs. You may qualify for one of these with regards to the remaining balance due on your eligible federal student loans based on your employer and if it's in a public service job. Next, we have the U.S. Army Medical Specialist Corps. This may also exist in the other military branches. These applicants are officers, and some of the areas in the Army that OTs can work in are human performance optimization, which is called H2F, combat operational stress control, upper extremity ortho rehab, behavioral health, and traumatic brain injury care. And they have a loan repayment program over 4 years and additional bonuses there. So it's a great opportunity if you're interested in that to contact them. Also, some hospitals will repay your student loans with an employment contract. So just want to point out some of those options. All right, so not everything is studying and seriousness. We have some fun program activities also available for our students. And that starts with tradition. So for our first year students, we have an orientation, welcome, and homecoming picnic in August. This is the culmination of a 3-day orientation for our new incoming students and is also our program homecoming celebration for our new graduates, our third year students that graduate in August, and any returning alumni. For our second year students, we have a pinning ceremony and new for the spring of 2025, a white coat ceremony. So we're very excited about that. And then also at that same time, as our students are transitioning out of didactic courses into their full-time field work, we also have an annual student scholarship symposium. And then lastly, for our third year students, we have a OTD awards brunch ceremony that occurs on the Friday before graduate program commencement. I want to point out in the top photo, as you see our cohort here in their doctorate regalia, they have a customized university medallion with that has the OTD program logo on the medallion, and they received, only doctorate students are awarded that at our institution during graduation ceremony. Other student leadership opportunities are our SOTA, which is our MU Student OT Association. This club provides service and social activities. Elections are held for class officers. They raise funds to help send representatives to conferences and also contribute to community-based needs. We have a student ambassador program. These students are my right hand. They help with admission tours, open houses, newcomer sessions, interviewing new faculty candidates. We also have a community advisory board student rep, one for each cohort. Our board is comprised of clinicians from different settings in our community who help with ongoing support and development of the program. Next is Pi Theta Epsilon Honor Society. This is an OT-specific national honor society requiring nomination based on GPA and performance in the program. COTAD, which is the Coalition of OT Advocates for Diversity chapter, and I'll share a little bit about that in a minute. We also have a graduate chapter of the Black Student Union that was founded by one of our alum. And then Phi Kappa Phi, a National Honor Society that our university participates in, and then our students are invited to be inducted into. So I want to share a little bit about COTAD. COTAD is the mission is to empower OT leaders to engage in practices that increase diversity, equity, and inclusion for a more transformative OT profession. So some of the goals are cultivating an environment for students to experience diversity in its many forms, bringing important cultural conversations to the forefront of discussion and reflection, and creating public campaigns that support client-centered and relevant services to our community. MU values DEI principles within the spectrum and field of occupational therapy as evidenced by cultural humility practices within our curriculum, programming, and overall educational environment. Some of the past projects that COTAD's have been involved in are neurodiversity awareness, celebrating various cultural backgrounds, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month and Black History Month, allyship, and annual COTAD Leadership Transition Ceremony, and World OT Day, which we're going to be celebrating at the end of this month with projects in our community that our faculty, staff, and students can volunteer for. And then OT Month, which is in April, which is a month chock full of all kinds of ways to engage with us and learn about OT. I'm going to play a short clip here. This is Lauren Fry. She's an alum from our class of 2021. She was also a student ambassador in our program and an MU undergraduate. She's currently working in the Greenville, North Carolina area. All right, I really love what Lauren says. Just because I'm different doesn't make me disabled. So, all right, now I want to move on and share a little bit about Methodist University. Maybe you don't know who we are. We're a small private liberal arts university in Fayetteville near Fort Liberty, formerly Fort Bragg, which is one of the largest military installations in the world with over 57,000 military personnel. We are part of the College of Health Sciences and Human Services, which is also comprised of the Doctor of Physical Therapy program, Master's Physician Assistant program, undergraduate and graduate and doctorate nursing programs, healthcare administration, kinesiology, advanced paramedicine, and social work. The advantage to our OT students is that it provides for those IPE experiences and for a richer learning experience. I also want to point out that our university is starting a medical school with our local community-based hospital, Cape Fear Valley, which will begin admitting students in the fall of 2026. They just broke ground on their brand new 5-story building behind the hospital, and we're very excited for additional IPE experiences with them. For our campus, we have village graduate housing available in the bottom left-hand photo. You can see that's on a semester basis. The McLean Health Sciences building that we're located in is 24/7 secure swipe access. We have convenient campus parking. We have a Burns Student Center that has a dining hall, Starbucks, and Chick-fil-A, Davis Library available. Student health, there's no charge except for labs and vaccinations. NIMICS Gym has classes, intramurals. A lot of our students participate in those, equipment rentals, etc. We have a Truist Bank very close to our campus and lots of apartments close to campus, some within walking distance. There's shopping, Walmart, fast food, nail and hair salons, Planet Fitness, all within a mile of campus. So very, very convenient. And with regards to Fayetteville at large, metro population is a little over 500,000. This includes Hoke County to our west and Harnett County to our north. As I stated earlier, we're adjacent to Fort Liberty with many veteran and Army OT collaborations available. Lots of different professional athletic teams in our town. One thing that I like about living here with the military aspect is that our community is very international. You can find people from all around the world here, all kinds of restaurants and grocery stores available. And we have a International Folk Festival, which is one of our premier events here that just happened a few weeks back, the 43rd one that we've had, and also a Dogwood Festival in the spring. Lots of cultural things available, symphony, theaters, museums, gardens, river trails, and other higher ed institutions. And we're very centrally located, an hour to the state capital of Raleigh, about 2 hours to all the beaches from Wilmington to Myrtle Beach, and 4 hours to Asheville. I'm going to play a video here that's highlighting our facilities. All right, since we're kind of running out of time, I just want to say a few quick things and then invite our students to answer any questions that UNC students have. So just connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. Lots of great information there. We have open houses in usually September and March, so you can sign up for those online. I'm going to pass that up. You know how to contact me, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing now. And I'm going to invite Lindsay Frechette and Molly Kraus. Molly here? Maybe she's not. I don't see her. Molly, are you here? Anyway, Lindsay, if you want to introduce yourself, Molly, if you're on here, introduce yourself one after each other. Just share, you know, when you graduated from Charlotte, what you majored in, those kinds of things. And then we can take some question and answers.
Molly and I signed in together, but okay. Hi, I'm Lindsay. I majored in exercise science and Spanish, and I graduated in 2024, so May 2024.
I'm Molly. I also majored in exercise science, and me and Lindsay graduated together last spring.
All right. Anybody have any questions that's on here with us still? None? Oh, Jalen, go ahead.
So what is the difference between the being OT and then OT assistant? Are the processes different?
Okay. I'll go ahead and answer that. So an OTA assistant. So for instance, Methodist just started the first bachelor's of OTA program here in the state of North Carolina. So what typically the distinction would be is the OT practitioner, the doctorate or the master's level, they will be creating the evaluation plans, the treatment plans. The OTA assistant will then come in and then implement that. So they get to do all of the activity with the patient. They're not involved in the evaluation component in the treatment plan. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? No other questions for our students? They're here. They're the ones that most people want to talk to. Is there anything, Lindsay or Molly, that you would like to share with those that are considering OT or preparing to apply to graduate school?
I would say I'm assuming the application window is still open for this year. I would say to kind of get ahead of your applications ahead of time. They take longer than you think they're going to take, and you're also going to want to go back and be able to change up your essays a little bit and kind of reflect on those. So what I did when I was applying was I would write all of my essays, and then I would give it a few days and go back and kind of revise it, so that way I know that I'm saying exactly what I want to say. What else? I'm trying to think.
I would use the UNC Writing Center. They were really, really helpful with my essays. And then also the Career Center. Hi to the Career Center people. And they were really helpful with helping me as well with my interview process and just preparing for that.
I was going to say too, for Jalen's question, going back to the OT and OTA thing, I was going to say it's not like that everywhere. Like when I shadowed, I don't think there was any OTAs where I shadowed. So you're not going to have that in every single place. Like the OTs are still able to carry out the sessions and things, but if they have an OTA, then that's what would happen.
That's a good point. Yeah, not every setting will have that. I also want to point out, if anybody is still on here from UNC Charlotte, if you have not pre-registered, there's a link in the chat box. If not, go ahead and just drop me your email address in the chat and I'll follow up with you today. So any other questions? I just want to respect everyone's time. Well, thank you to Lindsay and Molly for joining us today and sharing your perspective. Thank you to Career Services for hosting us today, and look forward to working with your students. Everybody have a great day.